Today I'm going to share with you the 3 reasons why clients get stuck and the 3 simple fixes to help your clients win faster and bigger. So the first reason that your clients might get stuck, and let's be honest, not all clients win as much as we want them to, but the first reason why clients get stuck is because they lack clarity. In the world of selling online courses, the biggest reason that people request refunds is because of overwhelm. There's too much stuff. They don't know what to do. And there's this whole kind of, think of like a ball of yarn in their head. They're trying to figure out exactly what to do next. They don't know. And therefore the confused mind is essentially like in a fight or flight type of response. And when we're in that fight or flight mode, we can't think clearly. When we don't think clearly, we don't take action. So what we want to do is we want to help our clients be very, very clear. Like the next actionable thing for them to do is X, as opposed to giving people a whole bunch of stuff to do. Like, here's this box of stuff. Show them a very step-by-step linear path. As an example, here's a shot of inside of our Health Business Accelerator program. We give our clients a step-by-step checklist to literally, it's like if you can follow a recipe, you can succeed with this type of process. It's like step 1, do this, step 2, do this. It's step by step. You don't skip ahead to step 30. You do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And therefore what's important about that is it's able to give our clients, and again, if you adopt a similar type of approach with your clients, it's going to show them exactly what to do next. This is one of the most important things to move humans forward, is knowing what is the next actionable thing for me to do. And this also goes back to productivity, and I've shot videos about this before. A lot of times when we don't take action, it's because we're too perplexed. We're not clear about the single tangible next thing for us to do. So we wake up in the morning and we have this huge to-do list, right? We have a bunch of stuff to do and these projects are massive. We haven't chunked it down to the next actionable step. It's like build website. That's a project. That's not a task. Okay, within that, what is the specific thing to do? So for instance, for your clients, is the project to lose weight? Cool, that's not the first step you're gonna have them do. There might be something very, very simple. And this all comes down to client experience, like really thinking about how we can really orchestrate a journey for our clients to go through that is so seamless, so streamlined, and so simple, not easy, but simple, that if they can just follow along and kind of check off these quick little wins, they will start to build their confidence. And as they do that, they start to feel more confident about taking the next step forward. So at this stage, we want to move them from a lack of clarity to being very clear about the next actionable thing. At this point as well, we also want to help them check off the little boxes, like what are some quick, like a quick win we can help them experience, whether it's completing a lesson, building a new habit or skill, or taking action on something. So that's the first thing we want to do to help our clients move forward, as opposed to getting them stuck in paralysis. So the second reason clients get stuck and don't get results is because they lack the skills. If you think about this, let's just use an example of if you're a health expert, your clients come to you and they don't have the results that they want. And the very reason for that is because they don't fundamentally behave in the world. They don't take action to help them achieve those results. Why is that? Because they don't have the skills and habits to do so. Most likely, right? There might be some other reasons, which we'll talk to in the next piece, which is probably the most important piece. But let's just use the example of someone who is overweight and they want to get in shape. The reason they don't have the in shape body is because they haven't built the habits and skills to make that a reality. So in the second part, what we want to do is we want to help them build skills. We want to help them, we'll call it skill stacking. So let's say you've got a client coming in. Let's just use the example of working out as an example. They've not really worked out before, or maybe they have intermittently. And all of a sudden, you're getting them to focus on these new workouts and changing their diets and changing their sleep patterns. It's too much stuff. So instead, what we want to think about is how can we help them focus on building one simple skill at a time? So for instance, maybe the first 2 weeks, the only thing they focus on, the only thing they do is one thing that is very simple. So maybe it's walk 30 minutes every single day. For the next week or 2 weeks, whatever the time frame is, usually about a week or two for a skill to start kind of taking shape is a good place, and nothing else. They can still do whatever they're doing. They can be eating McDonald's 7 days a week, whatever they're doing coming into your program. If they keep doing that stuff, but they just add this one habit, this one skill, they will start making progress. So let's say that they're starting to walk 30 minutes a day. Okay. And let's say that you're doing a 2-week type of schedule with this. So the first thing they do is they walk for 30 minutes every single day for the first 2 weeks. You check in with them. Maybe you have some coaching calls throughout the week. You keep them motivated, whatever. Now they've built that foundation. What's the next skill we're going to build? Well, it depends on what you're obviously doing with your clients. But let's just say in this example, now we have the skill of walking 30 minutes a day. Now we keep that baseline going. Now the next skill we're going to stack on top of that might be, well, let's drink 1 liter of water first thing in the morning when you wake up, okay? So we're gonna only focus on that for the next 2 weeks. So now we've built the initial skill of walking 30 minutes a day. We're going to build that habit. It's going to continue. It's going to keep going, right? We're not just going to stop that. We continue because we've built that habit. In the second or the third week by this point, we're now layering on, stacking one more new skill or habit, which is drinking 1 liter of water first thing every day. So now the client is doing 30 minutes of walking and drinking 1 liter of water first thing every day. Okay, so now they do that for 2 weeks. And so they're building this really nice momentum. They're walking every day. They're drinking a liter of water every day. What's the third thing we can have them do? All right, well, there could be a lot of things. Well, let's just look at an example of the first thing they're going to do food-wise. Let's just keep it simple. They're going to drink a protein shake. First meal of the day is going to be a 20 to 25 gram protein shake. That's it, okay? So it could be a shake that you have, a protein that you recommend, whatever. This is going to be in addition, above and beyond the 1 liter of basic water they're drinking first thing in the morning. So now we have the foundation of walking 30 minutes a day. We're just doing that. That's just part of who they are now. We have the foundation of a liter of water first thing every morning. And now we're into about week 4-ish about this time. Now we're going to layer in one more skill, one more habit, which is to add in first thing, that first meal of the day, liquid meal in this case, would be 20 to 25 grams of protein as the first consumption, meal or food wise. And why would we want to do that? Because protein first thing in the morning is very healthy for the metabolism. It keeps us full longer, and it's a way better start to the day than having a donut or a muffin or a high carb breakfast. So that's an example of how you can start layering and stacking these skills. And as you can tell, these are very, very basic things to do. But here's the reason most people struggle, is they think that they have to get the newest, latest gadget and whatever thingamajig. It's like, no, dude, you just have to do the thing you're not currently doing. So even if you charge $5,000 for a coaching program and someone's like, well, what are we going to do together? Well, the first thing we're going to do is walk, drink some water, and have some protein first thing in the morning. They're going to be like, well, I can do that on my own. No, you can't, because you haven't done it up until now. And the reality is, even if I told you what to do, you're not going to do it. And you know why? Because you're not paying anything. And when you don't pay attention. The very fact that you're going to pay me as your coach is going to make sure you do this shit once and for all, because I'm going to hold you accountable. And also, you're paying money. You're not going to fuck around. And this is why coaching is so powerful. It's not about giving people new information. It's about implementation. So the second thing we want to help clients really focus on is building skills, because they have to fundamentally change who they are. You have to change to change. You don't get different results by doing the same thing. And in order to have what you want, you have to fundamentally start by being a different person. Be, do, have. It's not have, do, be. So you want to have these awesome results. You want to have this healthier body, whatever it is. You don't start there. You start by being the person who has to do that stuff, right? So you have to be the type of person who wakes up, drinks the water, goes for a walk, has the protein first thing in the morning, and that's where it all starts. And this is why I think skill stacking is such a simple way of helping clients. And if there's anything that you get, and hopefully that you can translate to your clients, it's that they don't need to do new things. They just have to do the things that they think they already know and actually friggin' do it. All right, so the third reason that clients don't get results or they get stuck is a lack of motivation. I believe this is the biggest reason. This is the biggest reason why, and I've talked about this in so many other videos. There's two reasons for this. Number one is people don't actually want what they say they want. It's like a nice to have. It's a 7 out of 10. I really don't want to get uncomfortable. If that's the case, you're never going to change, okay? Because as soon as you run into those barriers or those moments where things get challenging, you don't have a big enough reason why to surmount it. And that's a fundamental issue that there's not much you as a coach can do about. Like, you really just have to be attracting better clients in who are just sick and tired of their situation. And fundamentally, you want to be choosing winners, right? Not people who are going to quit and give up when the going gets tough. And really what that comes down to is a lot of your communication. So we'll talk about that in just a second, but this is the hard thing that I had to come to grips with was I had to stop saving people and I had to start scouting for people. So there's a difference there. Way back in the day, my mission was to save people. I'm like, this person needs my help. They need my help. They don't give a shit though, right? Very often the people who need your help the most want it the least. So I had to really take a long time to go from trying to save people to scouting for the winners who I could help win faster or to a new level, give them a better vehicle to get where they want to go. And I've talked about this before. Harvard University has a 98% graduation rate. Why is that? They don't turn mediocre people into winners. They identify winners already and they give them a better vehicle. So just the fact that these students come in as winners already makes the graduation from Harvard that much more likely versus, taking students who have terrible GPAs and don't have their shit together. Harvard would not have a good graduation rate if that were the case. And that's why it's like, well, you have a coaching program and you can literally look at it as Harvard. Actually, for us, we have a lower acceptance rate than Harvard does by a factor of 3. So the reason for that is because we know who we can and cannot help. And when some people are like, oh, you're like, that's bullshit, you can't help me. I'm like, exactly, I can't help you because you're fundamentally not in a position where it makes sense for us to work together. Is that okay? I don't want your money. I don't need your money. I want your results. And if you're not going to get results from my help, I don't want to work with you at this point in time, maybe down the future, maybe down the road. Okay. So a big piece of this is really, really identifying people who massively want change. They have to be very uncomfortable with where they are because if they're not going to change. So how does this show up inside your coaching program? Well, again, they say it's like a must. And then all of a sudden you start getting clients who ghost you. Like, what? Like, sorry, you just paid me $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and now you're not responding to my emails. You're not showing up for coaching calls. You're not doing the work. They're literally ghosting you. So what does that tell you? It tells you 2 things. You charge them 5 times as much money, maybe they'll show up. Or number 2, they just don't really give a shit about it. Because I promise you, if part of your program was capturing their kids, and if they didn't do the work, you would murder them, they would show up and do the work. Now, and that's obviously a very grim reality, but that's the truth. It's like so much of our shit is because we don't truly want what it is we say we want. So number 1 is just don't say you want it because you're not willing to do what it takes to get there. So that's the first thing, is really doing your best to identify people who are a 10 out of 10 must. And that comes back to the second very important thing with respect to the motivation, which is your communication to your market and to the specific people you're going to work with. So what I want to share with you here is I'm going to draw this out on the iPad and I'm going to give you a bit of a visual that my good friend Simon Bowen walked me through recently. So I want to give him credit for that because he's a very, very smart man. But the reality is that a lot of people don't change because change is hard. And when I say lack of motivation is really one of the biggest reasons that people don't get results, I think a lot of it comes down to this, in addition to the fact that they don't really want what it is they say they want. So change is fundamentally hard. And what we need to do in our communication with people is we have to help them understand that the best places, the most rewarding places to get to are often the hardest to get to, right? It's not about being easy. It's about helping them giving them a simpler, clearer path, but it's not omitting the journey. Like you still have to go through the work. So I'm going to just kind of walk you through this on the iPad, and hopefully this gives you a cool visual that you can think about with respect to your clients. Right now, everyone you speak with is on the bottom left here, which is the status quo. And this is where all of us start. We're always in the status quo in some way, shape, or form in our lives. You can also consider this the comfort zone. Right? This is our comfort zone. This is where we feel comfortable. And the reason this is comfortable is because people in this position, they know how to connect the dots. They understand, even if their life is shitty, they understand there's a certain level of certainty and predictability with how things are. And that, like, humans love certainty. Like, it's a very, very, very big motivator. And the uncertainty that a lot of us face in terms of going through change is crippling for so many people, which is why they never even start. But you can't say you actually want something if you're not willing to go through the journey. So where we all want to go, where your clients want to go, is they want to go to this side, which is progress/success. Okay. So in some way, shape, or form, we all want to be on this side over here. Now, the interesting thing is that you'll notice that there's a bit of a gap in the middle, right? There's a space between status quo and the end results. And this is called chaos. You can call it change, outside the comfort zone, whatever you want to call it. But the difference here is that the reason why it's chaotic is because people can't connect the dots. They don't know what it looks like because they have not gone through that before. And so what happens is, you have to come in and show them that, listen, I've been here and I've done this a million times. Like, here's how we connect the dots. Because the reality is, this is the one place, this is the thing, this is the chasm we all have to cross. You cannot, just look at this visually. It's impossible to go from status quo to end result or progress without going through the chaos. It's impossible. How else are you going to do this? There actually is one little way to circumvent this, and it's to bypass the chaos by having it done for you. Now, in our business, we have aspects of done for you, so we can actually build out your perfect client pipeline, and there's a certain amount of the chaos that you avoid. But with your clients, are you actually going to eat for them? Are you going to do the workouts for them? No, you have to communicate with them that they have to go through this journey. They have to go through the chaos. And for them to visually get this in their head, like, dude, you are not going to get in shape without feeling sore. You're going to feel sore because we're going to be working out. If you've never worked out before, this is chaotic. You're going to have to change some of the things you're doing with respect to food. Is it going to be uncomfortable? Yeah. Are you going to have muffins and donut for breakfast? No. Is that going to feel good? Initially, it's going to feel like shit because that's what you've been used to. So we're going to go through this together, but you have to understand that there's no way to get where you want to go. And I'm just going to remove this little DFY there. There's no way to get where you want to go without going through this part of the journey. And this is why I think it's very, very important to have this conversation with prospective clients and in all of your marketing. I think it's a major disservice to your market if you tell them it's going to be easy. That, oh, no, we don't have to go through chaos. You're here, I'll get you there, no problem. No questions asked, 30 seconds a day, that's all you got to do. This is the magic pill. This is the fundamental issue in the world. And this is obviously where marketing has done a really big disservice to a lot of businesses is, we have all these alluring promises of like, take this pill and, 5 minutes, you'll lose 5 pounds. Sorry, that's not going to work. I think about P90X. When they came to market about 20 years ago, at the time, the Zeitgeist in the marketplace, at least as it pertained to like the infomercials and stuff like that, was like the sauna belts, the 6-minute abs, the least amount of effort for promised results. And P90X came about, or Beachbody came about and said, you know what? I think there's a percentage of the population who doesn't believe that anymore. And so they basically said the opposite. They basically said, this is gonna be the hardest thing you ever do, but it works. And that was a real transition in a lot of marketing because they started to tell the marketplace, this is gonna be hard, it's gonna be grueling, you're gonna work out every single day, but here are the results. Is it worth it to you? And I think that's a really, really important message. And that's the message that I personally prescribe to in a coaching business. So here's where you come in as the coach, is you say, listen, I'm telling you there's gonna be chaos. The difference though, is I've walked through this jungle 1,000 times. I know exactly how to get you through it. I just need you to raise your hand and say, yes, I'm willing to go through this. Now, here's the thing, is that if you say you want the results, whether we work together or not, you have to go through the chaos. So you can do the hard thing on your own, good luck, or you can do it with me. I'm not saying it's gonna be easy, it's gonna be easier. I'm gonna show you how to avoid the pitfalls. I'm gonna show you how to navigate the jungle. I'm gonna show you exactly which turn to take when you hit that fork in the road and you're like, do I give up or do I keep going? I'm gonna pick you up when you fall down to make sure you keep moving forward because we both know that's not happening on your own. This is the conversation I think it's very, very important to have with your prospective clients. And the third thing from a motivation perspective is if we think of like gamifying what it is you do with your clients, you don't have to gamify it in the sense of coding a special app or anything, but you have to obsess about helping your clients see quick wins. Humans feel happiest when they're making progress. When you're sitting in traffic, I don't like it. I would rather go on a side road, drive slower, and make progress. And I think a lot of us are very similar. You have to build out your coaching program in such a way where your clients can experience an almost immediate win. And that doesn't have to mean lose 7 pounds in 7 days, but it might be something very, very simple. And this goes back to what we talked about in the previous point, which is when you build out your curriculum in such a way that we're focused on simple habits one at a time, it's impossible for someone not to win, right? So all we're going to do this week is we're going to walk for 30 minutes a day. And to make your life even easier, I've put together some audios where I'm going to be with you every step of the way on your headphones to motivate you, to inspire you. And it's going to be like we're working out together or going for a walk together. How does someone not win by doing that, right? So when you think of building out this journey for your clients in such a way where they can consistently win, break things down. Like they can win from a process perspective and they can win from an outcome perspective. So a really simple thing you can do here from an outcome perspective is when you have your initial onboarding with a client, you can obviously grab their weights, stuff like that. But even just from a qualitative perspective, like if you're dealing with clients who, let's say they feel really tired, like let's say that you're working with people who are exhausted, how do you measure that? So the easiest way you can do that is ask them on a scale of 10, 10 being, I don't need sleep anymore, and 0 is like, I can't get out of bed in the morning. Where do you find yourself right now? Let's say you got a client coming in and they're like, I'm at a 3. I feel like shit. I'm tired all the time. Cool, that's on day 0. You have them go through the initial work you're gonna do, right? So let's just call it walking 30 minutes a day or drinking water or whatever the thing it is you do. 7 days in, you do the same thing. So you've been doing great. You've been building this very simple habit, scale of 1 to 10. You were at 3 last week. Where do you find yourself now? They might say a 4. That's amazing. That's a 10% improvement. They're not gonna go backwards, most likely. But also remember, they're not gonna get a 10. What we're looking for is progress. So let's say you do the same thing, you build the next skill and check in with them 2-3 weeks later, scale of 1 to 10 or 0 to 10, where are we at? Now they're at a 6. And this is very important for you as a coach to help them see their progress. So just as a reminder, we started a month ago. You felt like shit. You were a 3 out of 10 in just 30 days. We have made a 100% improvements, right? 3 to 6 is doubling or 100%. How do you feel about that? What this does is it confirms in their mind the decision they've made to, number one, work with you. Number two, it's going to motivate them to continue going because they're seeing progress. And that's really, really important for you to capture. And there's all sorts of ways where you can really document the client experience and the journey to document where they're like time to value, time to first win, all this kind of stuff. But at a very high level, think about how can you capture their wins and from a process perspective, make it easy so they internally feel like they can do something, but also from an outcome perspective, have a very simple scoring system where you can communicate with them or they can see it themselves like, man, I'm actually making progress from an outcome perspective. Maybe it's the weight, maybe it's their energy, maybe it's whatever it is. And I think if you focus on that, those small wins, in addition to really building out these very basic skills one by one, and you're working with clients who it's a 10 out of 10 must, you're very upfront with them about the fact that it's not going to be easy, but you're going to make it very simple and you're going to be with them every step of the way. This is how you start getting clients to really win. I promise you, if you take these lessons and put them into your business, your clients will get better results. If your clients get better results, what happens? They're going to stay with you longer? Yeah. Is that good for them? 100%. Is that good for your business? You better believe it is. So in the comments below, let me know which one of these makes the most sense for you in terms of something you can apply immediately. And there you go. So hope you've enjoyed this one. I look forward to seeing your comments in the comments below. And I don't know what the next video is. It's somewhere over here, but check it out. It's going to be a good one as well.